I made all these little objects here in Blender, and they were rendered using the freestyle renderer, and as well as this little guy here. So that's an example of kind of things you can do. Alright, we want to reapply the mirror so that when I do an arm and a hand, it will do them both at once. We won't have to do them twice. So I have to cut this guy back in half. I wasn't in mirror mode, was I? That's something to remember. You have to be in, not mirror mode, but in X-ray mode. So when you want to do both sides of an object, which I would want to do in this case, you want to be in X-ray mode. And so when we cut them in half, X and F, see, that looks pretty good. So now we should be able to mirror them back up. In object mode, I'm going to go add the modifier back. And there we are. You know, I was saying, usually you want to use 4 quads, and you'll match that to like an 8-sided cylinder. There's my arm socket. Then, since I'm in mirror mode, I want to go back into object mode and add a cylinder. And still set at 8. And there's no caps. I like using a reference just because you get the arms and the legs length correct. Even though I think this model, though, this mannequin had a little bit longer arms than normal. Okay, and before I leave object mode, I want to join these. The bright orange outline means that this will be the parent, and the dark orange outline means that'll be the child, which is what we want. And you Control J to parent them together. And notice how it appeared on the other side because of our mirror. Alright. And and look at my side view as well. Use the L key, adjust it even better. If you another trick is, say you get pointed out to a spot where you can't even see your mesh. If you hit the period key, you highlight your mesh, which you can do over here in the outline, and hit the period key, it should zoom you in to where it's more or less in the center of the screen. And I'm going to, what I like to do is it kind of makes a nice transition for these low poly models, is to join this square to this cylinder. And see, I'm flying around the model like a gnat. I watch a lot of these YouTube videos. If you've made a YouTube video about Blender, odds are I've seen it. Hold the shift key down so you can get both edges there. Okay, so that's that kind of modeled itself a little bit right there by joining the square hole to the arm. Alright, sometimes you have to hit the A key a lot to deselect things. Just notice I had this selected over here, and when I went to extrude it just went, mesh just started going crazy. So hit the A key, pick what you want here. And I like to get, put in a couple rings for the joint. And you can constrain this by by adding the, hitting the X key. Okay. Now I want to go back in object mode. I want to add a hand, but I usually take and add another block, cube, and squish it down to hand size. And then constrain it. Then go to the top view. Join them together. Go back into edit mode. And then I'm going to add some fingers. I'm not going to really make a complex hand. I'm just going to make sort of a flipper out there. And the reason why I'm adding these fingers is you can use, since we render in freestyle, you can use the freestyle render engine to draw fingers on your hand this way. I am going to start trying to model more complicated characters. Notice, okay, so I'm trying to scroll forward with my mouse key, but it's just at a crawl. If I highlight something like that and press the period key on my number pad, it'll get rid of that effect. And then I'm going to face these over again, joining the cylinder to a square. And I want to be in edge mode to do that. This where it's showing you all my key presses, it kind of tattles on me if I press the wrong key. It's really important to learn to move around in Blender. It just saves you so much frustration. Not being able to get to where you want to be is really frustrating. That's a little low, isn't it? So since I'm using my manipulator, Control Z, I can lift this up to about where I want it. And there we go, a little bit better. Tweaking's like when you're in here making all these tiny moves with the mesh. That's what you'll be doing a lot of. It's sort of relaxing. I used to wonder why my aunt could sit there and knit all day. And it just, you know, it takes your mind off your worries. And okay, there's the thumb. Okay, and there's his arms with a hand. And towards the end, before we actually render him for a drawing, we'll mark these edges here with the freestyle. Well, I can show you. Control E, and it's a mark freestyle edge, and that way it'll show up in the renderer as a finger. And we have to make a neck hole out of this for somehow, and that'll be in the next video where I'll show you how to make a neck and a head. Thank you for watching.